We made it. We're here. Good Friday, everybody. Hope
Morning, good
everybody
morning.
Morning.
is
Morning,
pumped
TK.
up
Yeah.
for the last day before a 3-day weekend. We are super excited to be here. Happy Friday to everybody. Good morning, Service Alliance community. We have our boy Doug Shear in the house today. He is
Morning.
EJ is here. He's in the background. We can see him, but y'all can't. He's like driving somewhere right now. And we have a very special guest this morning, Mr. Matt Freeman. He reached out, said he wanted to come on, and we were super happy to have him. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And well, before we get into that, let's pray.
Mm,
That sound good?
yeah.
Doug, you wanna fire one off for us?
Sure can. Oh, God, today's a great day. We are grateful that you are in control and that you love us. And we just pray today that the three of us, along with the community together, see good things and help customers today. We thank you for Matt coming on, and we look forward to hearing about his story and your hand in his business. And Lord, we just lift up TK to you, and we thank you for his leadership in this group and his encouragement and his vision. And we thank you for him in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So Matt, thank you first of all for coming on.
thank you guys for having
Um,
me.
we appreciate it. Why don't you, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into appliance repair, where you're from, anything else you feel like sharing with the community.
Will do. Thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it. Had some conversations with Zach Kreider and back and forth, and one day he was like, "Hey, why don't you come on to the show?" And I was like, "Really? Like, wow, that'd be great. I'd be honored to do it. That'd be really awesome." And so, my name is Matt Freeman. I'm married. I've got 3 kids. They're all sports players, so I coach baseball and soccer at night with those guys. I get to spend a lot of time with them. It's a lot of fun. I live in a coastal area near Bethany Beach, Delaware. A lot of growth, a lot of appliances, a lot of good stuff to work on. Um, there's a song by Casting Crowns, and the lyric goes, "I hope I get to the point where," he's talking about being in heaven. I look back and see how all the pieces fit, and basically that kind of describes my appliance repair story. I got kicked out of the University of Delaware because I stopped going to class. It was kind of a bummer, and I had a friend who owned a tile company, and they brought me in and was like, my best friend's dad's company. He was like, "I need a warehouse manager. I need a guy that can count, can keep track of things, and will keep the equipment going." And so that became my job. Like, that's what I did. And I was responsible for all the equipment, all the supplies, making sure the guys had everything. If something broke, I had to either try to fix it because I was a little mechanically inclined. I worked on all the cars I had ever owned, stuff like that. And from that job, went to a couple other places. And everywhere I went, when people found out I could turn a screwdriver or use a hammer, they would be like, "Hey, can you fix this? Can you work on this?" And I've always loved puzzles, problem solving, stuff like that. And I said, "Sure." And I would give it a try. I've never been afraid to take something apart because generally I can put it back together and put it back together the way it was. And I'm great at researching stuff. Okay, well, if I don't know, and I don't know a lot, I'm happy to sit down and spend a couple minutes and go, okay, well, let's figure this out. So went to a couple other places, worked at a paper factory. I was a materials handler, and that was a union shop, and they only had one maintenance guy on my shift. And so stuff would break, and he would just tell me, "Go fix it. I know you can fix it. Just go fix it. I don't have time. I got to get the presses running. Just go do it. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. It's a union shop. Don't tell anybody, but just go do it." So I would. We had forklifts and pallet wrappers, all that stuff. And then from there went to another company where we worked in a lab, and we had machinery in the lab, but it was all sterile. So they needed a tech who was in the lab that could work on the equipment when it broke, because the maintenance guys couldn't come in. They weren't sterile. You had to be completely gowned and everything like that. So the maintenance guys started to show me, all right, this is this is the wires, and this is what does this and that. And so most of the little stuff I could work on and fix during the process. Unfortunately, both of those places closed for company buyouts, corporate stuff, and I ended up at a pest control place, which was great. I worked only 8 months out of the year. The other 4 months I was on unemployment, but I couldn't sit around and stay at home. And so I would go in during the winters and I would do different jobs. And one year I worked on all the pumps and motors for all the spray equipment. Went in, guy I coached baseball with showed me how to do everything. So we took all the motors apart, cleaned them all out, put them all back together, the pumps, all that other stuff. And I was actually one of the few guys, I had parts on my truck because my zone that I sprayed and worked on was so far away from the shop. If anything broke, it was an hour back for me. So I had my spark plugs and extra pieces for my motor, and I just, fix it on the fly or whatever. And that was a great job, but the schedule was terrible. Anytime I got busy at home, or busy at work, we got busy at home. School started, Little League started, and my wife ended up being, like a single parent. And finally I said, I gotta find a better job. So it just so happens I had become friends with a person that we knew at a local minor league baseball team, and his dad owned the local appliance company that had a really good reputation. And when I was looking to change careers, I said, this is it. I'm going to pick something that I really want to do. If I'm going to make the move, like I can do what I'm doing right now, I can survive and do this. But if I'm going to make a move, it's going to be something I really want to do. I'm going to enjoy it, and it's going to have the schedule for me. And it took a year. I started looking for over a year, and I kept doing my job, but I looked for a year, and we have a lot of demand because we're a growing area for welders, millwrights, framers, a lot of that stuff. And if you can plumb or know electricity, can weld, you can write your own ticket around here. But that was all things too. You needed a lot of training and certification. It's years. Delaware has a law. You can't pull wire without an electrician's license now. It's no longer the helpers can go in and go in the frame out and start. You got to have and that's a 2-year class. Needless to say, an ad pops up for a appliance technician needed at this company of the dad of the guy that I knew from the baseball team. So I applied for it, and I didn't hear anything. And I was like, gosh, that's the job I want, man. That's the job. I want that job. It's Monday through Friday. It's no overtime. It is appliances. It's what I want to do because it's brains, but it's hands. Awesome. It's also indoors. I was doing pest control outside, 100 degrees. I'm like, no. So I wrote another email to the owners, and I wrote an email, and I said, this is everything I've ever done wherever I've been. I've worked on this. I've done that. I know none of it's appliances. I get that, but I'm willing to learn, do whatever. And they responded to the email. They brought me in for an interview. They brought out the service manager who had done appliances for 49 years. And he met with me and talked with me. And basically they gave me the job. They're like, here's your offer. They just had 2 appliance techs quit. They needed somebody, and they liked me. They brought me in, and I started doing it. Now, what was crazy was that's 2019. I start riding around with another technician. They also put me through the Master Samurai fundamentals course, which was great, which was awesome, super, super huge. Because I knew enough to be dangerous. I had rewired plugs at my house. I had worked on engines and stuff. I knew a little bit, but the Master Samurai course really put it together for me. Really gave me a lot of that stuff, ohms, and these are all the tools you want to use and stuff. It really helped. And then of course the basic systems to everything. A washer has a tub and a water valve and a drain pump and a control board or a timer, and getting familiar with all that. And so went through that, and they started to send me out that summer. Ice makers. We do. We're in ice maker season now. Like I'm going to do at least an ice maker a week until September. And then built me up to washers and so on and so forth. Well, why I mentioned the whole thing about casting crown and pieces fit is because things were starting to get into 2020, and we know what happened there, the pandemic, everything like that. But in the meantime, the service manager came in and said, I am going on partial retirement for 2020. I'm only going to work 3 days a week. And it was me and another technician, and somebody had to step up and do the office stuff then at that time too. Somebody's got to schedule the job. Somebody's got to call the customer. Somebody's got to order the parts. Somebody's got to file the warranty claims. And I thought at that time, I'll step up. I'll do it. I'll step up, and I'll give myself like a little better spot in this company. What I didn't realize was I was learning the other half of running an appliance business. I was learning the other side of, I have a problem with GE. I got to call them. Where's the number? You know, we had a whole file on GE. Okay, I call these people. Who's my parts rep? Who are the different companies if I can't get it from Tribbles? You know, stuff like that. Because 2020 was really bad. Sorry to move the computer around. I don't want to make anybody motion sick. So for those, I would schedule 4 calls for myself, go out and run them, then come back to the office, return phone calls, bill people, do all that stuff, thinking, okay, at the end of the year, when this guy goes on full retirement, maybe I have a chance to do this job, make a little more money, so on and so forth, and really do some more of this stuff. What I didn't realize was September of that year, the owners of the company brought us in and said, we've gotten to the point we decided we're going to retire. And I knew they were retirement age. They were getting close to that. They had a 20-year plan, and they were year 18. But they said, we're going to retire, and we're going to get out of this. We're going to close the business in about a month and a half. And I was devastated. I had a job with a great schedule. I was working for incredible bosses. I was working with incredible people, from the delivery guys to the sales guys to the other service tech I worked with. Everybody helped me out so much. And for the most part, everybody worked together as a team. We did a lot of Wolf and Sub-Zero. I would go out and be the 4th guy on that red cart pulling stuff upstairs, you know? And I was devastated. I was devastated. I finally found a job where I wasn't job hopping. I loved it, enjoyed it. And I thought at that time, this was my 20-year plan. Little did I know the Lord had something else in mind. So the end of the meeting, one of the owners comes up to me and he says, you need to do this on your own. You need to start your own business. You need to go, even if you're a one man in a van, you need to go do this. And I said, okay. And he said, and I will spend as much time as I can. Now he's closing his business. And he says to me, I will spend as much time with you as needed to tell you everything I can to get this ball rolling. And he literally sat down with me in the office one night after work for an hour. And I had made a list of all these questions and all these things that I could think of for my own bit. What do I need to run? I need disposal. I need vehicle. I need everything. He gave me every contact he had. He gave me every way to get everything and really set me up. And then my next door neighbor runs a small home improvement company. He came over, had dinner with my family and I one night, and was like, here's all the things you need to know about working in this area, who to talk to, what to do. And so I went and got a business license, went and got my insurance. I started to run a couple of appliance calls at night and on the weekends while we were closing the other business. And then December 1st, 2020, I stepped out as Freeman Appliance Repair, and we've been running ever since. We started out for four calls a day, just me scheduling, ordering, all that stuff by myself. My wife has done the books, been super supportive, been awesome. She's done a lot of other stuff. She got our t-shirt designs together, and has handled a lot of that stuff for me. Now we roll out. I have 2 guys that work with me part-time. One guy goes and runs service calls. I have another guy that comes in and helps me in the morning with installs. We run anywhere from, it depends, driving time, the labor we're doing. Now we're up to like 6 to 8 calls a day, and are just, we're very blessed. We're very blessed. We're very busy, and things are really good. But it's just looking back over the years, going, wow, I'm at this point now, and it was set up by all of these things. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yes, it's cool how, you know, God works things out, and your sounds to me like your plan was to just keep on working for this company, and you were happy, and everything in your eyes was going good with this company.
Yeah.
But there you
Yeah.
go,
And yeah. And
2 years
I knew,
later,
look,
you're
yeah,
rocking and
I knew
rolling.
they might retire. Yeah, I knew they might retire, and I might one day do it on my own. So, but yeah, it came a little sooner than expected for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things, man. We never know. We talk about this a lot on the morning grind. And we can make all the plans we want to, and we can make all the preparations we want to, but sometimes God's plans are different, and that's where faith comes in, and that's where sitting back and saying, "All right, this isn't how I envisioned this thing happening, but
Right.
you got a plan, you got a purpose, and I'm just gonna have to trust in it." You know what I'm saying? But that's an awesome testimony, man. Because and one thing that I noticed, it was all that stuff you did before, the working on the motors and doing all these different things. That stuff is it's so valuable when you do get into appliance repair. Because I've said this a bunch of times. The guys and gals that are getting into it nowadays that have that basic mechanical skills, that have that basic knowledge of how to take something apart, put something back together. People don't realize it, but that's an invaluable skill when it comes
Mhm.
to the service industry in general, but especially appliance repair. Because I've trained 3 guys that had little to no mechanical aptitude, um, and they ended up getting it, but it took a long time. So, and I'm sorry that I didn't notice this, but how many people are working with you now? Is it just you and your wife, or?
No, it's me and my wife, but I have two guys. So the installer from my previous company, he came to me and was like, "Hey, are you still gonna do installs?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." And so he comes. He has a job where he can go in later in the day. He comes and does installs with me. And then I have a young man who uh he is a college student, and he's super mechanically inclined. He's better than me. He's better than me. He can look at something and see how it comes before I do. And he comes and works with me on his days off from school, and then for the summer, he comes and works with me, and he's great because I've been able to train him up to the point where the dryers, he's an ace with dryers. Like just
Nice.
yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So it's good.
Well,
We have a
Matt,
question.
Mhm.
Did they
you,
sell you their phone number, the old company?
They did not. And so initially, the owner even said to me, "Hey, look, our old appliance company stuff is not trademarked. You could take it if you wanted to. But at the end of the day, with having to close up all the accounts, and it was hard because supply chain was so bad, so bad. We were literally canceling orders like the day before we closed because we just couldn't get anything, and nobody could. At the end of it, he said, "Look, you need to do your own thing, start your own thing, separate yourself from this. It's just going to be better for you. Separate yourself from this." And so it was the right thing to do. Yeah, it was good.
well, Matt, I like how you started everything. I mean, you kind of were reflective of the whole journey, and you started with God being in control,
Yeah, right.
and you just kind of faithfully followed. But you had this passion
Mhm.
to understand things and to be independent and take charge. So, of course, looking back, it's like, of course, this was going to happen, Matt. You were
Right.
clearly
Sure.
taking this
Sure.
on. And by the way, a guy running a business that always needs technicians, an email like the one you sent would be
Hmm.
just, it's too enticing not to meet that person and go, are you human? Because I don't really hear that or see that too much anymore with that passion and big picture thinking. So that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
And of course, I
Right.
have a science fiction movie lined up now. I don't know what the movie's going to
Right.
be called. So I'll just, what's in my head right now is you're like the fixer, and just like broken things like magnets just get stuck to your body, and you're just like, oh, never seen this before, and you just fix it and let it go on its
Yeah.
own, and then you just take this journey through the world, and things just get stuck to your body. So
Right.
that's kind of what I'm at. Matt
Well,
the
well
Fixer.
now
Is that a good movie
now
title?
Yeah, that would be good. But now, see, the problem is in my house, supposedly, according to my wife, all I do is break everything. So
No.
that's,
You are
you know,
officially a
that's
science guy. If they say
right.
that, you've made it, brother. You're there because it happens
Yeah.
to all of us. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could bring my wife in right now and she could give y'all
Yeah.
a laundry list of broken crap around my house that
Now that
I'm
I have
supposed to
18, now that
fix.
I have 18 texts, my wife threatens me that she's going to call the office and make an appointment and have someone come
Please,
out, you know?
And I would
please.
like to, I'd like to take this opportunity right now for TK, for Doug, and for a lot of other guys out there who are appliance fixers. The young guy, the guys that get into this, and I say young, I've got gray hair, but I was told when I got into this, like I was the youngest appliance tech in our area, like literally I was. But I would like to say to you guys, we get into it with this vision of you guys who have done it for how many ever years, Dave Giro and these other guys that are out there. We get into this that like you are these supermen and know everything and can do everything, and like you're literally 1 to 2 call guys, like you never go back and there's never recalls. And what I want to say is I really incredibly appreciate your openness and your honesty, and like TK's whole video about the door at his house, like that was huge. Because when we get into this Facebook, the Appliance Alliance, which has been fantastic, so many great guys that I've met, but you get into it and you see these guys and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so much better than I am. And then TK posted the door video and I was like, all right, cool. Like,
Yeah.
or like I think EJ shared one time where like he had a job he just struggled on. Like just EJ just couldn't figure it out.
Mm.
That means so much to us guys because there are times I can go on a rip and we're 2 calls in, we're 2 jobs in, two stops in, we fix it, we're gone. And there are other times I go home to my wife and I'm like, I can't fix bleep this week. I don't know what my problem is, but I can't fix bleep this week. It just drives
Yeah.
me crazy. But thank you guys so much to all the guys out there who have ever jumped on a post that I've made to help me out and to help fix stuff. I just appreciate that a lot, guys. And just being open and going, hey, sometimes we do run into crap. The other one the other day, like with the flood valve in the dishwasher, where you're like, I almost went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that
honest. Yeah.
to hear stuff like that sometimes when I'm stuck on a job, just thinking back to that story and going, hey, even Zach gets stuck on stuff. Even Doug gets stuck on stuff. Even,
Yep.
That for that moment, even just kind of gives me a moment to just chill out and then get through.
Yeah.
Agreed, man. This is a great organization, a great group. These guys, TK and
Absolutely.
EJ, Justin and Zach, they did a great job putting together a great mindset and a family-like approach. So they're not all the groups on Facebook are like that, my friend. Nor are they face to face. Like you just have to bring a knife to a tech meeting just to defend yourself.
Right.
Maybe go back on your callback, and then it's a big threat. So
Absolutely right.
Justin
Yeah.
would like
Indeed.
to know what city you're in, Matt.
So I'm in a little town called Millville, Delaware. If you were looking at a map, I'm about 4 miles west of Bethany Beach, Delaware, which is right on the ocean. It's a great place, great area to live in. Has really exploded. A lot of growth. I grew up here. I worked in Bethany while I was in high school and college, right up on the boardwalk. It's a great place. It's nice. Not a lot of snow, not of rain or wind. We do get some good storms, but overall, awesome place to live. Great community. Really love it here. Really love it here.
Is Doug Shear growing a beard? That's the question that came in.
Well, I don't want to call out our community after I just gave him great praise, but I asked for a referral for a good electric shaver, and no one is stepping up. Somebody, Gaspar, recommended like a Schick thing that you buy. No, I need something great in electric. And I will grow this thing into. No, wait, no one will give me any recommendations if I swear to
All
not
right.
shave. But
Y'all send Doug your razor. Well, you got a nice
Please.
clean shave there, Matt. What kind of electric razor are you straight razor? Or what are you rocking with over there?
I'm a razor. It's the Schick Hydro or whatever. But the key I found was and my wife has no facial hair. I could never TK. I idolize you and Zach and the other dudes with beards because I can't get away. My wife's like, no, never facial hair. But the Schick Hydro, my cousin told me one time. I said to him, dude, you really shave up nice. Shave in the shower. shave in the shower, make it the last thing you do, and it'll. But I've always been baby face too. Like people come up to me, and I've seen, not since high school, and they're like, "Yo, you look the same as you did when we were in high school, just with gray hair." And I'm like, "Well, thanks. I guess I drink a lot of water. I don't know."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with Bob. Just let it go, Doug. You know?
This is like 5 or 6 days, man. I could have a beard like yours in 3 weeks, TK.
Do it, man. Do it.
And it's nice. No patches. No patches. It's good.
Look, I'm 52, man. I have to do everything to try to look younger.
Nah, man, embrace it. You gotta
like
embrace
Billy's like 175 with his beard, right? Is that how you are,
but it
Billy?
looks awesome.
Yeah. Billy had. I saw Billy I think Billy was on the last happy hour, and that was amazing. That beard's incredible. That's Duck Dynasty right there. That
There
beard's
it is.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Gaspar doing his first sealed system. That's awesome. Oh, on a Frigidaire Professional.
You got this, Gaspar.
It's all the same. Sub-Zero, LG. It's all the same.
I did my first sealed system with my oxyacetylene setup yesterday, and man, that thing was sweet. I mean, it was on point. Bronze Series 9.
I'm Googling it right now.
EJ's rolling through these comments so fast we can't even read them. Slow down, EJ. Just so everybody knows, I am not flashing these comments up, or I'm not doing any of this stuff. EJ is. So, all right, Bronze Series 9, they're expensive. Yeah, you get I think with razors, you get what you pay for.
You do. You do. Exactly. 269. Kyle, do you think I make $1 million a year? 269.
There's got to be a way to write that off as a business expense.
Let me check with my beard on that one. All right, let me work on that. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep. All right, it's Ask Us Anything Friday, guys. So what made you switch to oxyacetylene? I wanted to try everything. I started off, I was trained on Turbo Torch, and there's nothing wrong with Turbo Torch. Turbo Torch does a great job. But I hang out in these groups a lot, and I hear everybody, talking about the oxyacetylene and just how, small the flame can get, and you can get right in there, and it's better for doing evaporators and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give it a try. I'm the type of person, I'm a tool junkie. So if there's a piece of equipment or a tool that can make my job easier or make my life easier, I will buy it. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care anything. I'll get it. So I actually found my setup at a pawn shop. I went into a pawn shop and I walked into the back, and there was a brand new Oxy. I used 15. And there was a brand new oxyacetylene setup, had tips with it, had the cutting torch with it, had a brand new thing of rods, brand new tank of oxygen and acetylene. And I think I paid like $200 for it. And I also picked up a vacuum pump. I am using, I don't know the name of my torch, but it's got two little, let me see if I can get my finger. It's got two little tips that come to a point like this.
Yeah.
And they kind of meet each other. Oh, yeah. That's the tip that I'm using. I don't know if it's called a jeweler's torch or not, but that's what I'm using. Full size. I use a full size. I've looked into the jeweler's torch. AC guy here, you guys using the same setup as we are, or the mini OA? I don't know what I use. I don't know. I think it's a normal size oxyacetylene setup. I know from the pawn shop guy that bought it, he said he got it from an AC guy. So I'm assuming it's the same thing AC guys use.
Yeah, we have a lock
and lock ring.
Yeah, we have a lock ring kit, but my guys don't want to use it. So maybe I'll have to trick someone into trying it and see if it really works, because it's such a split thing in the community whether it works or not. So
yeah, well, they said, from what I've heard about the lock ring setup, it's all about how you do it. Just like anything, if you do it according to what people have told me, I have zero experience with lock ring. If you do it right, you don't get leaks. If you don't do it right, it's, from what I've heard, it's all in the preparation and doing it right. I actually had a guy at the supply house yesterday trying to sell me a lockering kit, and I was like, no, thank you, I'm good.
Yeah, but TK, what you just said is the same thing as with using a torch and acetylene. It depends how you prep it and how you do it, you know.
Absolutely.
So, and we've seen on Facebook, we've seen some pictures of some shitty solder work, you know, and
Oh yeah,
yeah. So,
I've done some shitty solder raising work. I've had I've noticed, like, whenever um when I was using the turbo torch, whenever my acetylene tank would get a little bit low, it would always mess up my joints, and that's when I knew to change my tank out.
ah,
We use the standard MC tank setups. All right, there you go. Andrew knows what he's talking about.
yeah. Well, you know, just to tie in Andrew's earlier consistent daily comment, I imagine in Matt's science fiction story where he's walking through the desert and all of a sudden through this rolling sand comes some piece of machinery that needs to be fixed by the fixer. And then all of a sudden he can't get the job done, but out of nowhere, I show up with my needle nose pliers,
Yeah.
and I help
Yeah.
him fix that job. And then I disappear like a cameo in his science fiction
Oh, that would
movie.
be
So
sweet.
yeah,
That
so
would be
thank you,
sweet.
Andrew, for bringing up the needle nose. But we learn from our mistakes. Sometimes we figure it out on our own because we're tired of callbacks, or we're tired of getting yelled at by customers, or we're tired of disappointing customers or losing money. And then other times you get called out by your peers, like, you piece of shit, you can't do that, right? And you're like, oh. So it's all these moments in time, like you, TK, with the tank, realizing, you know what, I'm going to switch it out. That was an aha moment, and that's really cool. You got to have those. Matt's had a ton
Yeah.
of them, obviously, because the guy's been in it for like 4 years tops, and he's already
Yeah.
starting his own business. And you're going to have a lot of aha business moments now that you've got people working with you, and you're doing all these things all at the same time, Matt. Pretty impressive. Make sure you stay connected to people to help you through it.
Yeah, no, and it hasn't. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our Appliance Alliance brothers, Chip Lennon.
Yes.
He's up in Meds. I've never met Chip. I've never talked to Chip on the phone. I don't generally work on microwaves because I'm usually by myself, and we got to pull them down, so on and so forth. I always tell people I don't repair microwaves; I replace them because we do some sales and so on. But I took on a microwave job when it was slow for starting out, and it was a KitchenAid, and it was the interlocks. And anyway, regardless, took the microwave home, was working on my kitchen, and I could not figure out the blue jumper wire. Could not. The instructions didn't make sense to me, and I put it out on Facebook, and Chip hopped on and like basically walked me through it from Massachusetts.
Awesome.
And that's I hope that someday I can do that for other people. But again, really grateful for that, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of guys in the Alliance, we're just trying to fix stuff. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to fix stuff, and we know we can, but a lot of times it's the experience factor. You walk into something and you go, I've never done this repair before in my life. I know I can do it. But you may not have the tech sheet. You may not have the resource. There's may not be something funky. I had and I'm sure some guys will make fun of me for it. I had done 4 or 5 GE refrigerator inverter board repairs. Go in, oh, the inverter board's bad. Okay, fine. It's what is it? 2 screws, a couple of connectors. You slide it out, put the new one in. I went to one. We literally had to take the wheel off the back of the back corner of the fridge. We had to take the wheel off the fridge to get the inverter board out because of the way the capillaries were run.
Yeah, I know
like,
exactly which unit you're talking about.
I'm like, what is going on here? I've done this job. I should be out of this job. We're going. And we're just trying to fix stuff at the end of the day. So super thankful for the people that I think understand that and go, hey man, if I got something that will help you, throw it out there. And it's great to have a resource like this, because unfortunately appliances, man, I'd love to go to Fred's. I'd love to. I would absolutely love to walk in the door and step my game up and learn sealed system and get better. I would want to do that. I don't have 3 weeks to go. I don't have 3 weeks to go. So, very, very thankful for the guys out there that have jumped in and talked and helped stuff. And I hope if there's any time that I see something that I can help somebody with, that I do that, because at the end of the day, I think most of us are out there. We are just trying to get somebody's appliance back up and running for them.
Yep.
We're not
Yep.
trying to take shortcuts. We're not trying to get the job, and we're not trying to learn. It's just we just don't know in that situation. And when you're somebody like myself, I work on pretty much everything. If I think I've got a shot at it, I'll take a shot at it. Now, somebody called me the other day for a Bertazzoni dishwasher, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I got no business with one of those. But yeah, no, really, really appreciative for the guys to do that. And yes, want to stay connected to resources for sure.
For sure. We got a question. Where the heck is Zach? Several people ask where is Zach. We, as I said earlier in the week, Zach's taking a little break. We will share more about that in the upcoming episodes. But Zach will be back. That is for sure. But I can't put Zach's business out there. But he's taking a little break. We'll leave it at that. And feel free to reach out to him. He is still involved. He is still rocking and rolling and doing his thing. Brothers helping brothers is what this alliance is all about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. EJ's rolling in the comments. It's 8:28 Eastern Standard Time. Do you have any type of hard stop today, Matt or Doug?
No, I'm thinking about calling out sick. I don't think the
Yeah.
boss is going to get mad. So I'm thinking about
I
calling
actually
out
thought
sick
about
today.
calling out sick. I have an LG French door bottom mount door to do. The door with the dispenser on it.
Yeah.
I have to
Oh,
replace the door. I
uh,
hate that job. I have to do that like second call for this old lady. I can't believe I sold the job. I priced it super high just because I didn't want to do it. And she bit. She said it's got a broken wire in the door. Those LGs are notorious for broken
Yeah.
wires in the door.
Yeah.
And she wants her ice dispenser, so she's gonna get it, and she's gonna pay dearly for it. Bless her heart.
Well,
Um,
let me share a quick secret. So our software program can tell if the technician has viewed his schedule. And so when a technician views
okay,
his
cool.
schedule in the morning and then he calls out sick like 30 minutes later, it's but I have these principles, right, of assuming the best of people and and so but it does look bad in the court of law. Like, Judge Judy could plead, that deem them guilty of saying, hey, he's got an LG door and he doesn't want to do it today. But, it happens. So
for
but
sure.
don't do it. Don't do it, TK. Go do your damn job today.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna get through it. It's Friday, 3-day weekend. I've just my partner's off today. He's down at the river living it up. Lots of people get to a point where they don't want to learn new appliances. I'm curious why. That is a good question, Andrew. Why do people get to a point where they don't want to learn new appliances?
It's
Did you ever get
mindset.
to that point as a technician, Doug?
Sure, it's mindset, and it could potentially be towards the direction of money. So I did a sealed system job in 1989 one time and helped somebody on it. And I thought to myself, to get good enough, I'm going to have to do 10 or 20 of these. And then, it's going to take me I know it's going to take me a few hours and it'll turn into a couple hours. And I'm thinking to myself, no way. This is back in the 90s. There's so many couplers and lid switches and GE motherboards and relays on some Embraco compressors. I don't want to do sealed system work. Do I look back on that and regret it? Sure, but I was thinking about the money. I was thinking in the place of a sealed system job, I could do 3 other calls. And I did the same thing with a cabrio bearing. I kind of jumped off the road when those were coming out. That's now when I left. And it was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm ordering the whole tub and bearing. I'm not doing the bearing shaft itself. Then I hire a guy from Sears who'd done hundreds of them, and they can do them in a lot of times 45 minutes. I regret not willing to stretch and grow my brain instead of going, how can I make quick, good, easy money? I think it's money for a lot of people that not want to learn the new stuff.
I think also too, and it's something that I've had to learn the hard way sometimes, just starting out. But I'm sure you guys have had it too. I think sometimes it is um, it's a patience issue, and what I mean by that is guys who have done this job for a long time. I got to see a guy literally 49 years in. Like I said, his patience was shot. He was a great guy. He showed me everything, but his patience was gone. And I think that if we don't take the time to do the things, go to the river, watch a movie, hang out, separate some way, somehow, take care of the mental health in some fashion, I think that we start to lose that patience, which you've got to have in this job.
Yeah.
You've got to have it for this job. And I think when that happens, I think that without that patience, sometimes we go, I don't have the patience to learn this. I worked at a Home Depot back in the late 2000s, and I worked with two older gentlemen, and they told me they would do anything in the world, but they did not want to be behind the computer. Did not want to be behind the computer because they did not have the patience for the computer system that was being run at the time.
Mm.
And yeah, I know there are times, there are days I'm like, I can't do appliance work anymore today because
Right.
I'm not here. I know I'm not there,
Yeah.
and it's I think that's a little bit of it too.
No, that's a good point. And Andrew's throwing some good comments in there too. Andrew is that type of person that loves a technical challenge. He loves that stuff. I never loved it. I did it because I had to. I loved the really upset customer, the one we completely blew it on. And it's like 1% chance we're going to save this customer. I want to go in that house and I want to win them over in a way they have no idea that I pulled them out of the grave. Like, I'm not pouring it on. I'm slowly just making an authentic attempt to bring them back and trust us again. That powers me up. But figuring out how to get a damn Cabrio tub out when it's all rusted is like hell for me. So, but Andrew's that kind of guy that loves that stuff. And so,
And
you know,
Andrew makes a quit moving my comments around, EJ. I got this. Uh, Andrew makes a good point here. So does that mean it's a company culture issue, an individual issue, or something else? I think first and foremost, as a business owner, it is our responsibility to nurture a culture of continued education.
mm-hmm,
I think it's our responsibility to take, you have to lead by example.
mm-hmm,
For instance, when my new guy came on, he saw me taking off on Fridays to go learn sealed systems. He was part of it. He was there for 80% of it, watching me and learning right next to me. So he saw, hey, TK's been doing
mm-hmm,
this for years and he's still learning something new. He hasn't stopped learning. He wants to go to that next level.
mm-hmm,
So if you're a business owner and you have techs underneath you and you think that you can just keep on doing, cherry picking the calls and not learning anything new and doing whatever you want to do, you're not leading by example. Don't expect your techs to have a passion for going to that next level if you don't.
mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, no one's going to, because you're the example. And if you're a service manager or a lead technician or whatever, that same responsibility falls on you. Not only to want those things, but also to provide your people with the resources.
Amen.
Take them to ASTI, take them to different meetups and conferences, sign them up for MST with the Appliance Alliance promo code, and get that 10% off. Whatever. But also on top of that, it is an individual thing, because the individual has to choose to want to learn more. My mindset when it comes to this stuff is more knowledge equals more money. The more I know, the more I can fix, the more I can do, the more money I can make for the company, the more happy I can make my customer. Um, And that's what it's all about. I'm out there to make customers happy and make money. So me going in and saying, "Oh man, you got a so and so unit. Sorry, I'm not going to work on this." I don't make
That's
money
it.
from the service calls.
That's the wisdom of Moses to our left, Matt. I mean, you're hitting it, TK. However, I'm going to tell you something. Let's just say an owner doesn't feel exactly the way you do. Like, hey, there's plenty of work out there. I just don't want that. I'm not sure that that's the most incorrect or wrong approach. It just, if you look at the 10-year period, you might work yourself out of a job or a company, but they may be okay with that as well. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, if there's a lot of opinions on the Appliance Alliance, including some of the ones from you guys that run Appliance Alliance. And I disagree sometimes with the way you're looking at it, but I also understand from your perspective, it's different. But I do think if you want to do the long haul, you better follow Moses' advice that you got to keep the training and the teaching and the growing going. But it's not a right or wrong for sure. I don't think.
And I think too, to jump in here and piggyback too, I think it's also about the expectations. You know, we're going to run hundreds or even thousands of service calls throughout a year. If you really are going to work on everything to the most part, and I really try to do that because I want to be the best tech that I can be. I want my guys to be the best tech that they can be. And I feel like part of that is being able to work on everything, but also too, you're going to learn so much more by working on everything because you're going to
Mhm.
see how there's similarities. At the end
True.
of the day, a lot of times a washer's a washer's a washer. I
Yep.
understand they have different features and different aspects, but when it comes down to it, if you can open one up, you're going to start to see some things and you're going to go, I've seen this map before. But I think too, it's the expectations of the person going into the house and kind of giving themselves a break. And what I mean by that is, look, man, I work on X number of different appliances a year. Me personally, I don't stock any parts. And the reason is because out of all the calls that I've done over, granted, a very small sample size, I get it. I've done the same repair maybe 6 times. Like literally, I don't run into that recurring repair. And so I kind of give myself a little bit of break going, hey, I've never done this one before.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I want to be the best. I want to know as much as I can. I know I'm not going to know everything, and I have to lower that expectation too. But I like TK is talking about. I load up on my resources. You
Mhm.
know, I try to be an authorized servicer for whoever I can, so I can have their tech line
Yep.
and do their work. I try to get my MSA membership with Marcone, so I've got the tech things, and I got my Master Samurai. I got my Appliance Alliance. I got whoever. Because
Yep.
at the end of the day, like PK said, we're in this to fix stuff. We're in this to help customers, and it's whatever it takes, whatever it takes. And if you will continue to let me in your house, I will continue to try to fix your appliance. I don't care. 10, 12, I don't want it to be that. I don't ever want it to be that. But if you will let me in your house, I will try to fix it.
There you go. You got a question that came in, Matt. Are you doing flat rate or hourly?
So I do flat rate for my diagnosis. I do hourly after that, but it really depends on kind of like what we're into. And I've seen other guys do it, and I do agree with it. If I break out my air sled, if I break out my steamer, if I break out something like that, I automatically know this is going to be a longer than usual job. So I kind of have a little price book in my head of, if I got an LG washer I got to get to, and I'm taking the dryer down or I'm pulling the air sled, then it's so much for this. But basic, basic everyday dishwasher, refrigerator, all that stuff. Yeah, I have pretty much a flat rate and then a return trip fee and whatever the parts are.
What
Software for
about
dispatch. Yeah, software for dispatch. I use House Call Pro. I love it. It was we started out paper pencil, went to an Excel spreadsheet, and I had seen the Appliance Alliance do their interview with Roland, and had seen a lot of other threads, guys asking about software for dispatch, read up, go so. And I kept talking to my wife that handles more of our IT and bookkeeping stuff. I said, we've got to get House Call Pro. We've got to get House Call Pro. We've got to House Call Pro. Me being the other 3/4 of the business, doing all the scheduling, booking, customer, so on and so forth. I've got to have something to be able to quantify this because it's getting overwhelming now that we're getting into the hundreds of customers. I can't keep up. I need something to organize this. I need some place to dump my model and serial numbers and all that. And I need to put notes in there. Hey, I was here 6 months ago. What was I doing? And so one day I came home, we had started to pick up in business, and my wife goes, "We're getting House Call Pro. I've already written the check. I've already bought it. It's already done. We're getting House Call Pro."
That's
and
awesome.
So your wife made the choice.
She made the choice. My wife is awesome. She's 10 times smarter than I am. She's a great multitasker. It's why I got into being a business owner, so I can learn to multitask because I'm terrible at it. But she has to see it for herself. She has to see it for herself. And she saw what was going on with the business. She did some homework on House Call Pro, and at the end of the day, she's like, "Look, for our little operation, that we're gonna roll with this one," and it's been fantastic. And with the app, the other guys and even my wife, we're all on the app, and so they like. I don't know, Doug. I'd like to know what you use because I really like that feature about seeing your schedule ahead of time. But our guys can see their stuff the next day, what they're doing, so on and so forth. Have an idea of what's happening, and it was really nice too because I put on there for Monday, no jobs, and sent it to everybody.
Yeah, we use Service Desk. It's expensive, and it can be a challenging program. So I'd say if you start to take off, it's a really good option because, like you said, you've only done. I don't know if House Call Pro does this, but I think I've only done about 6 jobs repeated out of all these. Service Desk will tell you exactly how many times you use that part, and then you can start to build a truck stock list off of that usage. So it's a good program, but not a good program, and I don't think you need it for the size you're at. I think Bob is just a little bit bigger than you, and he uses it, but I don't know. You have to check with Bob. He can give you that backstory on it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gaspar is learning Service Desk right now, he says. So that must be what he's using.
Oh man, you need a degree. It's a big program. It's got its challenges, but it does help you as a business really well.
The softwares can be so intimidating when you first get, like when we first switched to Workies, which we're still not 100% happy with. Workies, if you're out there listening, it can be so intimidating when you first start off, especially if you're like me and you're not, super computer savvy. Like I can navigate a computer good enough, but I'm not like super computer savvy. So we struggled a lot switching over to Workies. Dispatch Me, I'll say if you're a super small company with 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys, Dispatch Me is not, looking back, it's not a horrible software. It has everything it has most of what you need and nothing you don't. Workies is very customizable. From what I've seen, it's a lot like House Call Pro, but there's just so many little glitches and things. Like I'll give you a perfect example. With Workies, I can't go into the search bar and punch in a part number and see everywhere that part number has been used on a job. I feel like in a dispatching software, I should be able to do that. Because if a part comes in and maybe there was a mistake made and I can't find out where this part's supposed to be, I feel like I should be able to punch it into the search bar, and every time that part was used, those jobs pop up. And I had that on Dispatch. Dispatch Me did that. So I have my complaints about Workies. I might actually do a podcast talking about it, but Workies, if you want us to use your stuff, you're gonna have to do better. But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up, boys. Unless anybody's got any more questions. Someone said, what's the price on some of these? The software I use is $200 a month. Workies. I don't know what Service Desk is.
It's hard because it depends on how many people you have. I mean, I have
yes, it does.
18 techs and stuff, so you don't even want to know what we pay. But Yeah, you got to invest in it. You ever H&R Block? Okay, taxes are complicated. I remember I used to go to H&R Block and sit down at the desk next to the agent, and they would just ask me these questions. And one time I looked over on their monitor, and they're like reading it, and I'm like, wait a minute, is it that easy that you can have this program that anybody can become a tax consultant? Of course, I'm dumbing down what they do, but that's my thought. Back then, I was like, they need to come up with a software program where it looks like anyone can just go, what name, address, model, make, part, and just make it simplified. But I haven't seen one that's real simple, because you're complaining a little bit about some of the ones you've tried, EJ. So apparently Jesus needs to make the next. Let's pray for Jesus to make a great dispatch software program for appliance repair. Ask and he may give. It's a yes, no, or maybe.
Well, maybe the Alliance community can come together and we can put together one. And there's got to be somebody out there smart enough to make a dispatching software. You
Well,
know,
they keep
Doug, you're a
making
pretty
new ones.
smart fella. You ever made a dispatching software?
Who? I'm not smart enough. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
I'm smart enough to know that I can't call up service desk and go, can't you just make this happen? You know, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's hard to write program and to make things happen. Although Glenn Donnelly will make it sound simple. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
he
And
has
then
his own. He has his own program that he custom made for his company. But I
and
think he
he's
might be a superhero like Andrew Soper.
yes,
So
I agree.
you know, Andrew Soper and Glenn Donnelly flying around the world fixing appliances and creating
Amen.
softwares.
Amen.
I think TK might be onto something, and what I was thinking about is, so much like Doug's thing about the fixer and the parts in the desert and all that. I did a job on a Samsung refrigerator one time, and I had to run the water lines in the refrigerator, and I'll get there quickly. I know we want to wrap up, but the thing that I thought was so great about the Samsung refrigerator was that they had a tube channel in the sidewall to run your tubes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, like if I was building the perfect refrigerator, this is a feature I would want. Okay. And TK, it may be something that it may have already been done, but it may be something that could be done where the guys who are using dispatch software, Workies, Dispatch Me, House Call Pro, all these others, to throw out something and go, if you were building the ultimate dispatch software, what's one feature you would want it to have that comes from something that you use now that you're really high about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just need the smart person that knows how to make a dispatching software.
Glenn,
Yeah.
the hockey playoffs are almost over. Glenn can get to it after those and put it all together and make it for us. It'd be great.
He might just sell you his program, Matt. That's what
He
he's going
might
to do.
do that
He's already made the program. So
Yeah.
He might do that too.
yeah,
That's all right.
We just need
I
to
know
get
he's-
him to it's already made. So we just need
I
to
think
talk
he
to
wants
him.
to sell it too. Yeah, we just got to nudge him a little bit. So
Can it cross the border? Can it come? Can it
Oh
be
yeah, that's true. He's
international?
in Canada.
Can it be
so
international? Yeah.
yeah, we
Can it be
need this thing to
international?
be down here with us USA folks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Matt. It's been real. Hopefully, we can get you back on in the future.
Hey, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. It was an honor to get on and talk with you guys. Very grateful for the Appliance Alliance. And just want to say, everybody have an awesome Memorial Day weekend. Be safe, stay healthy. Don't do anything too dumb at the lake house or wherever you might be this weekend. But really want to say too, keep lifting each other up. Keep pulling for each other. We're all in this together, as Red Green says. We're all in this together. Keep your stick on the ice. Final thing I want to say is, you're never going to know everything, and it's okay. It's all right.
Absolutely.
And Matt, a special thanks to you, a clean shaven guy who looks smart, knows his stuff, and is in the appliance industry. I am grateful for you, and we need to build a little culture, a team ourselves. So yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
All right. Thanks, TK. Bye,
Absolutely.
EJ.
Thank you guys. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe out there. Hopefully, y'all have got some good plans to hang out with family this weekend and all that stuff. But with that, we're going to go ahead and head on out, and everybody enjoy your weekend. Peace.
Peace out.